Welcome to the Kitsap Publishing Deep Dive podcast with myself, Jack Bennett, and Emily Waters. Join us as we explore books, current events, history, politics, health, and more. Let's dive in.
Ever really stop to think about how amazing our bodies are? Like how we heal from cuts or broken bones, even just fighting off a cold. It's pretty wild when you break it down.
It really is. The body's capacity for self-repair is incredible, and what we're diving into today, stem cell therapies, takes that natural healing power to a whole other level.
It's like science fiction, but real. And to help us unpack all of this, we're turning to Dr. Hans Thomas Richter's book, STEM04.pdf. I gotta say, this book is dense, but fascinating.
It's a treasure trove of information.
So our mission this time around is to give everyone listening a solid understanding of what stem cells are, how they work their magic, and what they could mean for the future of regenerative medicine. No small feat, right?
It's a big topic, but that's what we're here for, to break it down. At their core, stem cells have these unique abilities to self-renew, meaning they can create more stem cells.
Keeping the supply chain going, smart.
Exactly. And then there's differentiation, and that's where things get really interesting. They can transform themselves into all sorts of specialized cells in the body. Muscle, bone, even nerve cells, you name it.
It's like they're the ultimate blank slate for the body.
Precisely. And what's even more fascinating is that using the body's regenerative power isn't a new concept. It's been around for longer than you might think.
Oh, really? Like how far back are we talking?
Try back in 1910. Doctors were already using amniotic membranes to treat burns.
Wow, 1910, that's incredible. Did they even know why it worked back then?
They observed these remarkable healing properties, but didn't have the full scientific understanding we have today. Now, we know amniotic fluid is loaded with growth factors and cytokines, crucial for natural healing.
So they were onto something, harnessing the power of stem cells without even realizing it. It makes you wonder what else those amniotic membranes are hiding.
It's a goldmine for research, and it really highlights the potential of placental tissues in regenerative medicine. They're like a wellspring of different types of stem cells. Which brings us to the real rock stars, the ones everyone's talking about. Mesenchymal stem cells, or MSCs for short.
MSCs, all right, those are ringing a bell. They're the ones being looked at for all sorts of therapies, right?
Exactly. MSCs are incredibly versatile. They show promise of regenerating various damaged tissues and have this uncanny ability to modulate, meaning kind of fine-tune the immune system, especially helpful when there's too much inflammation getting in the way of healing.
So they're multi-talented, love it.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we even get these MSCs from? I've heard there are different sources, right?
You're right. We can harvest them from different places, each with its own advantages and disadvantages. But one source stands out as particularly promising: the umbilical cord.
Hold on, the umbilical cord, the thing they just, toss after birth.
I know, it sounds crazy. Something routinely discarded turns out to be this potential powerhouse for healing.
Mind-blowing. So it's not just any stem cells from the umbilical cord, it's these UCMSCs we keep hearing about.
Yeah, UCMSCs, those are the mesenchymal stem cells specific to the umbilical cord, and they're showing some remarkable potential.
Okay, gotta ask, why them? What makes these UCMSCs so special?
Well, for one, they're abundant. We're talking readily available. Plus, they're considered younger than those from adult tissues, less exposure to things that cause wear and tear on cells over time.
Makes sense, a fresh start. So younger and...
And here's the kicker. UCMSCs are packed with a potent mix of growth factors and signaling molecules. They can really ramp up tissue repair and regeneration.
It's like they're coming in with a whole arsenal of healing power. It's pretty amazing to think about these UCMSCs, all that regenerative potential, just waiting to be tapped into. Last we left off, we were talking about how they can influence the immune system. Can you break that down a bit more for me? How does that actually work?
Sure, think of your immune system like a security guard.
Always on alert?
Exactly. On the lookout for anything suspicious, viruses, bacteria, even damaged cells, which is a good thing, right? Keeps us healthy.
Definitely.
But sometimes this protective response, what we call inflammation.
It's a lot out of hand.
Exactly. It's like your immune system throws a party and forgets to send out the party's over signal.
And things get a little out of control.
Right. And this chronic inflammation, it can actually slow down healing, even contribute to other health problems.
So that's where our friends, the UCMSCs, come in.
You got it. They step in as mediators, bring things back into balance. They do this by releasing a signaling molecule, prostaglandin E2, or PGE2.
PGE2, catchy name. What's so special about it?
Well, it plays this dual role in inflammation. At first, when you get injured, it's like PGE2 is raising the alarm.
Sounding the siren.
Exactly. It ramps up the immune response, fights off infection, starts the healing process. But here's where it gets really cool. As things start to heal and the initial inflammatory response isn't needed as much, PGE2 changes its tune.
It's like, all right, everyone, party's winding down.
Exactly. Starts sending signals to dial down the immune response, prevents things from getting out of hand. That ability to both kickstart and then resolve inflammation is crucial for keeping the body in a healthy state.
Fascinating. So it's not just a one and done kind of thing?
Not at all. And that's just one example of how MSCs work their magic. They're not just acting directly on the injured area, they're releasing all these signaling molecules that orchestrate tissue repair from multiple angles.
Like a well-coordinated team.
Exactly. They stimulate angiogenesis,
Which is
the formation of new blood vessels, making sure those injured tissues get a fresh supply of oxygen and nutrients. They even help minimize scar tissue, encourage the growth of new functional tissue.
So instead of a quick fix, they're guiding the body to do a full-on proper repair job.
That's a great way to put it. It really highlights the complexity of these cells and why there's so much excitement around their potential for regenerative medicine.
And we're still just talking about MSCs. There's a whole other world of stem cells out there.
Right. We've focused on MSCs, especially those from the umbilical cord, but they're just one piece of the puzzle. We've got a whole range of stem cell types, each with its own unique properties and potential uses.
Like what? Give us a sneak peek.
Well, there are hematopoietic stem cells, HSCs for short. These are responsible for making all the different types of blood cells in your body: red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, the whole gang.
Those are the ones involved in bone marrow transplants, right? For treating certain cancers and blood disorders.
Exactly. And that's where their power really shines. By transplanting healthy HSCs into someone with a compromised blood system, we can essentially hit the reset button on their blood production, give them a real shot at recovery.
It's incredible when you think about it, rebuilding an entire system from essentially one type of cell.
It really is remarkable. And then we have the superstars of the lab, induced pluripotent stem cells, or iPSCs.
iPSCs, those are the ones that have scientists really buzzing, aren't they?
That's right. We're talking about adult cells that have been reprogrammed, essentially turning back the clock to an embryonic-like state. This means they regain that ability to differentiate into almost any cell type in the body.
So they're kind of like the stem cell chameleon.
Exactly. And that makes them incredibly valuable for research, allowing scientists to study how diseases develop, test new drugs, even explore the possibility of personalized cell therapies tailored to a patient's unique genetic makeup.
Personalized medicine, that's the holy grail.
It's the future. It really is mind-blowing. Being able to rewind adult cells, give them this second life as pluripotent stem cells. This discovery has been a game changer for regenerative medicine, opening up all these possibilities for treating diseases we once thought were untreatable.
We've covered some pretty mind-blowing stuff about stem cells, from their role in treating blood disorders to the potential of iPSCs.
It really makes you appreciate the incredible power of these cells.
It does. It makes you wonder about bigger questions, like what does this all mean in the grand scheme of things?
Absolutely. It touches on the very essence of life itself.
Exactly. And it's interesting because Dr. Richter actually brings up this concept from traditional Chinese medicine called Jing. Have you heard of that?
Yes. Jing is often described as this vital essence, a life force that we inherit and gradually deplete as we age.
So it's like our body's battery pack.
In a way, yes. And it's believed to be concentrated in the kidneys and plays a role in our vitality, our ability to heal, and our lifespan.
It's fascinating how this ancient concept seems to connect with what we're learning about stem cells, both tied to our capacity for growth, repair, longevity. It's pretty wild when you think about it.
It really is. It makes you wonder if traditional healing practices, which have been around for centuries, might offer even more insights into how to harness the power of stem cells.
I like the way you think. But even sticking with what we know from modern science, the possibilities seem endless. We're not just talking about treating diseases, but potentially even reversing aging itself.
The future of medicine is incredibly exciting.
It is. But of course, with any groundbreaking scientific advancement come some big questions.
Absolutely. Ethical considerations are paramount.
Exactly. How do we ensure these powerful tools are used responsibly? How do we make these therapies accessible to everyone? These are things we can't ignore as we continue to unlock the secrets of stem cells.
We need a thoughtful and balanced approach as we move forward, that's for sure.
One thing's for sure, We're only just scratching the surface of what stem cells can teach us, not just about the human body, but about life itself.
It's an incredibly exciting field to be following.
It really is. Well, we've taken quite a journey today exploring the incredible world of stem cell therapies. If there's one key takeaway you hope our listeners walk away with, what would it be?
I think the biggest takeaway is that stem cells represent a beacon of hope. They hold the potential to revolutionize medicine as we know it, offering new solutions for some of humanity's most challenging health problems. And as research continues, who knows what incredible breakthroughs await us?
It's a future full of possibility. To everyone listening, we hope this deep dive has given you a deeper understanding of stem cell therapies and the incredible impact they might have on our lives. This field is constantly evolving, so stay curious, stay informed. This is The Deep Dive, signing off.
Thank you for listening to the Kitsap Publishing Deep Dive podcast. Emily Waters and I will see you in the next episode. Stay tuned.